I don't know how the average leftist does it, man. I mean, I don't know how they can possibly keep track of what they're supposed to believe and how they're supposed to think. And some of them actually can't. You know, some of them get so confused that their brains pop on live TV.
And when you know the world is transfixed on you as the potential next president of the United States, and we're looking to see what you do, you show up with Tim Walz by your side? Really? Really? You know we were looking for you. You know we wanted to hear from you. No disrespect to him whatsoever. But ain't nobody, how many times you gonna hear that he's a school teacher and a former coach? That he gets you? How many times? We know this already. We got it. You want to talk to us about the state of affairs in Minnesota? You want to talk to us about it being one of the highest tax states in the republic? You want to talk to us about whatever crime is going on there? What your positions were during the riots, et cetera, et cetera? I'm down with you. I got it. But there's millions of people who disagree. If you want to go that route, no. Nobody cared. You know why? They want to hear from her. And why do they want to hear from her? Because when she was the vice president, you never heard from her.
That's just a taste, man. Just to set the table just a little bit here. Stephen A. Smith is a Kamala Harris voter, without a doubt. I mean, Stephen A., for as much as he believes himself to be critically thinking or objective-minded or independent, he likes to throw around, the guy is completely and totally infected with a terminal case of TDS. I mean, the guy, he's totally cooked, right? He is going to vote for Kamala Harris no matter what. But he's not happy about it. I mean, he's obviously not happy about it. And for whatever reason, he wants to hear what she has to say. But the interesting thing is, and I cannot believe that these people haven't put it together yet, she doesn't actually have anything to say. And honestly, another funny thing is he says, you know, we've heard enough about Tim Walz. I don't think that's exactly true, man. I think this is the week that we hear from Jeff Walz, who is Tim Walz's brother, who so far has basically said that his brother lacks the character that you'd crave in someone chosen to make decisions on your behalf. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. This is not a video about that. I want to talk about poor Stephen A. Smith.
That ain't even it. The issue is you did this in your first press conference, Kamala Harris. You sat up there and said, believe me when I say I know Donald Trump's type. You talked about dealing with criminals, fraudsters, and, you know, con artists. And then you said, believe me when I say, ladies and gentlemen, I know Donald Trump's type. Well, if you know his type and you're accustomed to dealing with him, why is he the one doing a bunch of interviews? Again, the strategy was fine. I'm not complaining about the strategy you employed up to this point. I'm saying be clear. That ain't going to win you the presidency. And for your first interview, and by the way, you know the code that he's using. Nod your head, Rashawn. Nod your head, Honor Free, especially you, Honor Free. Oh, especially you. All right, and you too, Bailey. All of yous. Nod your head. Is Trump, yes or no? Is Trump not using codes when he points out that she's hiding? He's leaning on gender. I'm a man. I'm strong. Look at the war in Russia and in Ukraine with Russia. Look at what's going on with Israel and Palestine in the Gaza Strip and beyond. Look at the kind of troubles that we're experiencing, whether it's North Korea, it's China, or whatever. Iran, Iraq. I mean, come on, y'all. Look at all of this. You think she's strong enough? She can't even show up to do a hard interview. I show up all the time. This is what he's doing. We all know what that is.
I'm watching this, man, and it's like he's talking about an entirely different universe, man. He's talking about completely different people. You know, here's the thing. I can handle all the fake race and fake misogyny garbage that the left or these independents like to throw around. I mean, we're used to it, right? Donald Trump can't say or do anything. In fact, no non-Democrat straight white male can basically say or do anything without being labeled some kind of ist or some kind of ism. This This is going to happen every single time. Donald Trump states a fact. Kamala Harris is afraid to show up. And of course, that's racism and it's misogyny all rolled into one. We see that coming, right? That's no big deal. We don't care. But for him to start talking about how Kamala Harris has all the credentials in the world to stand up and say, this is how it's going to be, let's get it on. It's like, dude, who does this guy think he's talking about, man? She isn't even capable of having a normal conversation with somebody that she actually knows. And I'm not trying to be hard on Kamala. Something is missing inside that woman. Like she has some sort of mental block, some psychological thing. If she was a pitcher, it'd be called the yips. I mean, she's got the yips, right? I mean, she is not confident in who she is. And in fact, I don't think anyone is confident in who she is. If anyone in the Democrat Party was confident in Kamala Harris, they would have gotten rid of Joe Biden at least 2 years ago.
Say commander-in-chief. He didn't do that to Hillary. He said a lot of things about Hillary, like crooked Hillary and stuff like that. He ain't never implied she was scared. He ain't never implied she was running. Because Hillary Clinton was smart as a whip and know her stuff. We all know. The most qualified woman to ever run for president in this country's history. Without question. Ain't that supposed to be Kamala? HBCU grad. Prosecutor. State Attorney General. Senator. Reigning Vice President of the United States of America. Kamala Harris has all the credentials in the world to stand tall, stand straight up, and be like, yo, this is the way it's going to be. Let's get it on. And as a prosecutor and as an attorney, as somebody who knows the law, as somebody who knows a criminal when she sees them, as somebody who knows a con artist when she sees them, and all of these other things that she said about him, why is this dude the one we see? Because the Democrats are telling her, well, you know what? Something ain't broke, don't fix it. We gain this momentum, we gain this momentum, we gain this momentum. They are right about that. And I'm not disagreeing with anybody on my team who feels otherwise. Here's my point. It doesn't matter if the regular process had been followed. But because they avoided the primaries, because they were accused of greasing the skids to disguise and hide Joe Biden from the rest of us in terms of the decline that was clearly taking place. She is now the Democratic nominee without having had to have a debate, without having to experience a primary, without having to campaign. It was handed to her in the eyes of the opposition. That is what they're going to say about her. Say what you will about Trump. He's supposed to be a criminal, right? He's supposed to be in jail, right? He's supposed to owe nearly $500 million, right? The bottom line is he's been the Republican nominee since 2016. And he's been through a myriad of debates. And on top of all of that, he got all of this law, these legal issues descending down upon him. And the people have spoken. The Republicans said they want him. All of them. Nobody said that about Kamala Harris until July 21st.
I don't generally agree with much when Stephen A. Smith talks, except for when he talks about Cowboys fans. I mean, the guy, he's pretty spot on. He says some pretty hilarious stuff about Cowboys fans. No offense to any of you guys that might be one. But he's got some points here, right? I mean, he says that Republicans are going to say that things were just handed to Kamala. And he's right. I mean, they will say that, but they say that because it's absolutely true for all the reasons that he just laid out himself. I mean, the Democrats, in his own words, and he's right, they greased the skids and they nominated someone who never had to debate, never had to campaign, never had to work for even one vote. That's as handed to you as something can be handed to you, right? And he's also right about Trump. The guy has been the nominee essentially for the last freaking decade, almost a decade. And he's been through every trial and every tribulation you can go through, every single one. And he's right. I mean, the people have spoken. The people said they want Donald Trump. And I like his point. No one ever said that about Kamala Harris. No one ever said it about Kamala Harris until they had absolutely no choice.
So you don't get to just skate to the election and have a debate September 10th on ABC, and you know what? We may barely see you. Nah. Why also, ladies and gentlemen, Biden wasn't doing a bunch of interviews prior to the debate on June 27th, and then what happened thereafter with July and him stepping aside. So we have a White House that hasn't been active participants in communicating with the fourth estate, spanning months while you're running this country. Nah. I want you, Kamala Harris, to go out there and whip you know what of Donald Trump.
Again, man, does this guy not know who he's talking about? Of course he wants her to go out there and take it to Donald Trump. They all want that. They all fantasize about her taking it to Donald Trump, but she can't do it. There is no universe that happens. If she was capable of doing anything even remotely like that, they would have already done it. I mean, do you think that Democrats want to be in a close race after completely showing their ass and unmasking themselves as anti-Democrat fixers? I mean, they don't want to be in a close race after that. If Kamala Harris was capable, she wouldn't be showing up to pre-taped, probably scripted 18-minute, highly edited interviews with her cuddly old white guy holding her hand. I mean, and they wouldn't have taken 40 freaking days to do it.
That's what I want. Because it shouldn't be that hard. Who's going to vote for him is going to vote for him. Just like the left is going to vote for you. But us independents, yo, you can't take him. That's like Tommy Hearns or Mike Tyson getting into the ring with somebody with a glass jaw. You should be able to take them. We know they could fight too, but once they get clipped by somebody the likes of you, they supposed to fall.
Here he is with the independents. I mean, the dude actually thinks he's an independent. I mean, he's literally willing an anointed Democrat across the finish line. He's on TV begging her to be anything and everything more than she is, right? And he does it all while saying, you know, do it for us independents. He says Kamala Harris should be able to take Donald Trump. But again, what planet is this dude on? Who does he actually think that he's talking about?
You prosecutor. You should be able to handle this because of him. Say Nikki Haley or somebody you're going against. This is him. Shouldn't be hard. That was my point. That is my point. And that's going to be my point until we see her campaigning the way presidential candidates normally campaign. She's got my vote because I can't vote for him. But I don't want to vote for her just because I don't want to vote for him. I want to vote for her because she shows me she's the one. And anything that she hasn't shown, I'm not even blaming her. I'm saying the party has paved the way and greased the skids.
That's about as much as I can take, man. I mean, Stephen A. Smith is so independent that he can't possibly vote for Donald Trump. But he doesn't want to vote for her just because she's not Donald Trump, he says. But I promise you, that is exactly what he's going to do. He'll either vote for her or he won't show up at all. And Stephen A. Smith, he's a pretty interesting case, right? And here's why I'm actually showing this. He's a lot like the Bill Maher, right? Both of those guys, they know that Kamala's a disaster. They know that nothing good can possibly come from Kamala Harris, but they support her anyway, right? I don't think there's anything we can do to reach people like that, but we can reach millions and millions of people that think just like them, right? People that haven't been intellectually co-opted yet, you know, people that, the kind of people that are going to hear Stephen A. Smith and agree with every word that he just said, and they're not going to vote for Kamala, right? Those people likely will not show up at all, which honestly is okay by me. I can accept that. But what I'd prefer is to reach these people, man. If we can get even 10% of those people who don't plan to vote to show up and vote with us from the top of the ballot all the way down, then that's a wrap. And we win. And we win by a massive, massive message sending margin. And we got to find a way to make that happen, man. But that's all I got, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.